Hello everyone, this is Many Ninja speaking, and this particular update video on the Super Saiyan 3 bootleg figure I have from beforehand, it's a bit of a rush job if I'm being totally honest because of reasons I'll explain a little more in detail, but what we're doing here is we're testing one of the specialty glues I picked up. I had to order this one specially, the Loctite plastic bonding system, and we're going to see if this thing is going to help actually attach that little bit of a sculpted or a cut down neck peg or ball peg that I was messing with earlier to the bootleg neck that I was messing around with to see if we can use some more custom heads on the Super Saiyan 3 bootleg body. So the way this thing is supposed to work is we have the two parts here being the activator as well as the glue itself, which I have in the smaller tube there. And for the activator, you're apparently supposed to take the kind of marker like edge on there, which you can see here in hand, and rub that against both ends of whatever you're trying to connect here. I'm being a little more liberal and kind of trying to push it in just because I don't have a lot of working space between the ball peg I'm messing with as well as the neck itself, so I'm just trying to get as much as I can reasonably on there. And apparently you're supposed to let this kind of dry on the both surfaces for roughly a minute in this case for what you're trying to attach, and after that minute then you're supposed to use a sparing amount of glue in order to kind of put it on at least one of the surfaces and then kind of push the things together and kind of clamp it into place. Now in my case I'm using a little more glue than planned because actually a shelving unit in my office fell down and kind of crashed on my computer table, breaking a few things, and also landed on the glue end of this stuff at the same time, so it's kind of leaking a bit. So I wanted to rush this video out because I didn't know if the glue would survive overnight. Now that I have everything there, I'm trying to gently push the thing in the peg. It's a lot harder than it looks in this case, and is incredibly stomach because it was a very tight fit to begin with. And it should normally, if this thing is working, like get a grip on there fairly shortly, which indeed it did in this case. Although I actually opted to pull it out a bit because it actually dried at an angle, so I had to pull it out and do another take after this particular recording here. But in theory here, once it gets there, it should get a pretty good grip, and while it doesn't mention a specific cure time for how long you're supposed to leave in there, once I got the thing in the right place, I actually left it for give or take a 24-hour period in that little clamp there, undisturbed, just to make sure if it was going to get a grip, it stayed there as good as possible. At this point in the footage, we're now a 24-hour period after the initial gluing here. As we can see, the plastic bonder glue lid is completely seized up in that case because of all the glue kind of spilling around when I was trying to do it in the first place. But in terms of the neck itself, I'm trying to do a bit of a quick test on here. It does seem to have a very good fitting on there, so that's a good sign. The ball peg is not moving at all. And when I'm trying to get it into the body, while it is a very tight fit, meaning I need to really sand it down a bit more, it does fit inside the body in this case. The movement is a bit limited because, like I said, the glue was spilling a bit earlier because of the broken tip, but there is still some movement in there, meaning that it is working like it's supposed to. Gonna test with the neck now in this case, or I should say the head actually on the neck. And in this case, we're going to notice the head is going to be a little loose because that's actually an issue that this neck originally had. The whole Saiyan Raised on Earth bootleg was totally rubbish, if you recall from the review video I did on that, so that's not a huge surprise. But it does show that it does fit on there like it's supposed to, or at least as good as it did the first time around. So that's good in that case. But what we really need to check in a minute is how well this thing works when I'm trying to pull the neck back out. Because that was the original problem with the old super glue stuff, namely the brand of crazy glue I was using at the time. Because when I was trying to remove the neck back out, the seal between the neck and the ball joint completely snapped off. I had to carefully pull the ball joint back out with some pliers later. But here we can see the joint survived. Everything's still in one piece. It's still a very good firm fit. And when I was trying this later off camera a few more times for testing, everything still stuck. Everything is still well and properly bonded. So surprisingly enough, for the little extra expense and extra shipping for getting it, the Loctite plastic bonding system seems to have actually done the job quite well in making this little modification here. So now, on top of having the Super Saiyan 3 head I can snap on here, I can now put on the Saiyan Raised on Earth head, Saiyan Raised on Earth head, and basically make this a Buu Saga era Son Goku, which is a nice pleasant surprise. So now I'm thinking to myself, actually, if I could use this glue in order to make a completely separate piece of plastic weld onto that neck joint and basically make my custom neck here for a new set of heads, that means in theory I should be able to use the exact same stuff, use a similar technique with another ball peg off of the bootleg figures, and remake the ball peg that was inside the inner torso that is just completely busted right now. And if that's the case, I can fix the Goku torso once and for all. We might be able to fix this figure after all completely. We'll catch up on that one next time, folks. Thanks for watching.